cities, places, traveling. It all always had a very big effect on me. You know, there are cities where I feel at ease, and then there are cities where I want to claw my eyes out. Cities to which I desperately want to return, and some that I want to erase from my memories. I'm not entirely sure what makes me love or hate a place, so because of that, I'm always very hesitant when traveling, because I know that the experience could either make or, well, break me. So you'd think that a person like me who feels too much in cities would then carefully consider a place to move to, but no, because one of my specialities is making stupid decisions, which is why I have moved on a whim. Not once, but twice. You know, I just told myself, hell with it, we'll live once, and packed my bags. And if the first time I was going a few hours away from home, this time I truly lost my mind and went halfway across the world. You know, just as delusional as Christopher Columbus when he was like, you know what guys, just give me like a ship and money and I'll definitely find you a new path to India. Like, sure, off you go, boy. But hell with it. We'll live once. I will never be a stupid 20-year-old living in South Korea ever again. Because was it an irrational move? Yes. Did it hurt my bank account severely? Oh, yeah. Was I scared shitlessly? Yeah. But was it also the best decision of my life? Oh, absolutely yes.
Safety first! It's going down!
With this so-called documentary, I want to share my thoughts, my experiences, my stories, my feelings, which means I'm basically going to be oversharing. 4 months is not nearly enough to understand Seoul. I honestly don't think any amount of time will ever be enough for Seoul. But it was just enough for me to start planting roots, which then were ripped out too soon with the most aggravating pain. It was enough for me to find favorite spots and to hit seasonal depression. It was enough to start questioning everything I have ever known. Well, at first I wasn't questioning anything actually. At first I was in a constant state of panic. I'm actually on the verge of a panic attack right now. You know, it tends to happen when you end up alone in a place so foreign that your body needs to adjust to breathing. It took me a good week to regulate my breathing and to not feel like I was suffocating. And I mean physically, not mentally. It's because air in Seoul is different. It's dense and harsh, and I'm asthmatic, so, you know, we made the most perfect combination. Arriving on the first day, we were greeted with two things: pouring rain and an emergency siren.
I don't think anyone cares for the siren.
And if that wasn't stress-inducing enough, on the second day, my friend, who's a local, invited me to Hongdae. Now, if you have never heard of Hongdae, think of Disneyland, or honestly any other park of attraction during its peak season. And imagine that there's a festival being held there. Actually, make it 2 festivals. So imagine the crowds there and everything is bright and loud, and for some reason half the people are drunk. Basically, that is to say that Hongdae is a sensory overload, an absolute nightmare for an anxious person. Like, without being dramatic, I genuinely thought a few times that my heart was going to give out. It was also excruciatingly hot. I don't know the science behind it, but apparently Koreans don't sweat, or they sweat less, which is why everyone was wearing jeans and jackets, and I was ready to rip my skin off wearing just shorts. I'm sweating, but I mean, honestly, I'm constantly sweating here. It's so hot and so humid. And then to make it worse, Seoul is a collection of hills. If I'm correct, 70% of South Korea are just mountains. There's literally no need for a gym. Going outside is an exercise. I felt like I was put on a survival show and put under all of the possible stress, and someone up there just really wanted to see my limit, and I'll be honest, they nearly got me. This is my little diary that I kept when I was in Seoul. I only did a few entrances, but I did do an entrance on the 25th of August, 2023. Today is my second full day in Seoul, and it's been, overwhelming to say the least. Everything is so different here. Which, I mean, duh, obviously it's different. I'm on the other side of the world. I'm in Seoul, for heaven's sake, in South Korea. I guess it wasn't what I expected, yet it also was exactly what I expected. Sounds weird, I know, but I don't know how to phrase it. Maybe I don't know what I expected it to be at all. The city lives on its own accord. It doesn't care for you. So much became apparent just after 2 days in the city. It moves, it goes somewhere, always running. People in business suits own the center. Women click their heels on the pavement as they rush to their lunch break. Everyone is running. Even when there is time, when the light at the crosswalk shows 30 more seconds, they're still running across. The cars and mopeds are always in motion, like one of the Newton laws. An object in motion will stay in motion. They cannot stop, and I cannot keep up. I mean, obviously I'm no one here. I don't know these streets. I've never turned this corner before, and I never crossed this road. I don't know my way here, so I get lost, confused. I become defeated, and I don't like this one single bit. It frustrates me, annoys me, but most importantly, it scares me. I'm so scared. All the time. I'm on edge. I don't know what's coming next. I don't know how to behave, how to talk to people. Christ, I can't figure out where to stand on the metro. I don't know where to eat or where to find a pillowcase. I know nothing here. Anyway, Seoul has been doing a number on me. It met me with heavy rain, leaving me cold and soaked. It hit me with a crazy grandpa calling me a bitch. Metro station, yeah, that happened. Oh my god.
I was able to get a metro and get here safe and alive, but I did nearly have a mental breakdown after a man approached me and called me a bitch.
Hit my head on the door of a cafe. Oh my god. I completely forgot this happened as well. I'm very tall, especially for Korean standards, and I was in a cafe with my friend and I went to the bathroom and the door is just not my height and I didn't duck. I don't know why I didn't duck. I guess my fight or flight was literally not working anymore, so I walked straight into whatever you call the upper part of the door frame. It challenged and tested me to the limits in just 48 hours. I'm scared to think about what's ahead. I don't know, one thing for sure. I'm hella fucking dramatic. The reason why I came to Seoul was studying, by the way. This wasn't just a little silly adventure for shits and giggles, which I had to remind myself quite often about. So, a week after I arrived, I started university, which gave me a sense of structure and routine. Routine is one of the best things to not go insane, in my opinion, because your thoughts might be racing and you might be thinking about the inevitable doom of humanity, but there's a class that you have to attend at 12 and then there's a meeting at 3, and after all is done, you're just too exhausted to think about death. Ugh, how upsetting. Better luck tomorrow. So with the start of the university, I ended up meeting some people through my exchange program who asked me, "Hey, we're gonna go climb Bukhansan tomorrow. You down?" Hell with it. We'll live once, I said, not knowing I was going to my own execution. I don't have much footage because I was busy fighting for my life, but the climb was painful. Beautiful, but painful. Made me feel incredibly humble seeing Korean elderly speed the track bare feet. Oh, but the view was so worth it. It was one of those moments when I could comprehend just how giant Seoul is. This was going to be mine for the next 4 months. I was living in Seoul. Damn, my younger self would never believe me. One of the things I was the most excited about even before I received my letter of enrollment is the university festival. So in South Korea, in order to boost students' morale as well as to raise the school spirit, the universities organize festivals at the beginning of each semester to which they invite music artists. I am a big fan of Korean music scene, so this was my very own Avengers Endgame, okay? Now in the beginning, no one knows what artists are coming until like a week before the festival, and people were just guessing. Kyunghee is a good university, but it's not the big holy trinity. So the artists will be well known, but no BTS. They don't even perform at university festivals. So you can imagine the surprise and uproar that happened when it was announced that one of the artists this year was going to be New Jeans. Even before that, we knew that the festival was going to be Hunger Games because it's open to all students of Kyunghee, which has 2 giant campuses, and it's free of charge. But with New Jeans coming, yeah, good luck to us. The festival ran for 2 days with food trucks, performances from uni clubs, booths where you could win little trinkets. There was definitely a sense of unity in the air, and I think it's the perfect event to kick off the year. The first day of the festival we saw Boy Next Door, which I had been following since their debut, so I might have been a bit overexcited. Stacy. I thought I didn't know any of their songs and somehow ended up knowing them all. And Zico, for whom I knew 2 songs yet was screaming and singing along to every single one. He just has such an impeccable energy and crowd control.
We are his baby. We are his baby. We are his baby. Hey, life is short, art is long. No.
On the second day we had to come early since new jeans were coming. We got there 5 hours earlier than the day before and ended up in the exact same spot in the line. I talked to a guy sitting next to us and he told us that apparently he left his 9 a.m. class on a global campus, which is in a different city, to get to Seoul for the line to see New Jeans. But before we saw New Jeans, we saw some amazing student performances as well as a little performance from the MCs. Then there was Benzino, the man threw water around like it's nothing. Then there was Akmu, and it honestly felt like we were just on their concert because the crowd loved them and they sang so many songs.
Sing it! And it's hard!
And then of course it was time for
Water ETA! Water ETA! 도대체 이분들 ETA가 언제죠?
바로 지금입니다. 뉴진스 무대로 모시겠습니다. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Without being dramatic, it was truly magical and totally bonkers for me to experience this in real life. I've seen people go to these events, added photos to my vision board. I was so thankful to be experiencing it and wanted to tell my younger self, see, the world doesn't really end when you're 15. High in the festival, the week started flying by with a constant supply of dopamine. There are plenty of sources for it in Seoul. You can find entertainment on every corner. One of my main sources of dopamine was my favorite group, 17. I am just a 20-year-old girl, guys, okay? I am going to fangirl and let me do it in peace, okay? I went to see their studio at their headquarters and then dragged my clueless friends to 17th Street, which was built for their new album. Bro, come on. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 face masks. 2 feet masks. 16 pimple patches. 17. Say the name. 17. 17 right here. Anyway. And then before I know it, it's been more than a month in Seoul, and I go through a crisis and chop all of my hair off, but we are not going to go in details on that. Days were slowly becoming ordinary now. The excitement was wearing off. I wasn't experiencing Seoul anymore, but just living in it. Going to city events, grocery shopping, regular subway trips. But I struggle with the main character syndrome, so I knew that something had to happen soon because the plot was becoming way too boring. So we needed some sort of event, or maybe a trip? Perhaps an unusual take, but if you ever come between a choice, Seoul or Jeju, choose Jeju. I heard people talk about its magnetizing effect, but I honestly didn't expect to feel it myself. And damn, I ended up feeling a lot more. Serenity, peace, joy. Never in my life had I seen such a breathtaking place. The world existed slowly, softly there. Even when things went wrong, you couldn't panic. There was simply no room for that in here. No stress, no worries. Jeju is also the first place in South Korea where we were able to find real bread, no sugar. So I simply must recommend this bakery called ABC, so if you're ever in Jeju by any chance, this is the place to go.
But still people live here. Yeah, but like only like 600,000 people live here. You two need to make eye contact. I'm afraid this semi-film of mine is gonna get way too annoying if it's just my voiceover. So here's a little something. Weather is so nice. I love it here. I haven't been here before. No, actually I have been here before. I don't know why I just lied. Compulsive lying happens sometimes. I've been here, but like I've just sat at the entrance of the park. This is the first time I'm actually going in. Yeah. Would you believe me if I told you that this is still like, would you literally believe me if I told you that this is Seoul? The crazy, bustling megapolis city. I can like literally see the, they're called skyscrapers, right over there. But yeah, it's quiet.
The only place in Seoul where I felt anything close to serenity of Jeju Island is Han River. Maybe my 6-year-old self is actually right and I am secretly a mermaid from H2O because I love water. I get hypnotized by it, and with Han, there is so much of it. This vast body of water in the middle of a bustling city. You know, they say that Seoul is a miracle on the Han, but for me, Han is the miracle. I'm a quiet person. I need my peace, and I'm a writer, so I need my head to be empty sometimes. And I could only achieve all of that at the Han. Whenever I would go on walks, I somehow would end up by the river. I was naturally drawn to it. There are plenty of paths along it for you to walk or cycle. People walk their dogs or run or exercise on the adult playgrounds or however you might call these inventions. It fascinated me how in a place so busy and fast could be a place where everything just kind of slows down. It defied my expectations of Seoul. Hangang was also one of the few places where I could see how big Seoul was. Seeing the never-ending skyline, the buildings disappearing into the distance, the mountains surrounding me. If at first the size of the city fascinated me, made me excited about exploring it, towards the middle of my stay it started evoking panic. Because I realized that I had barely seen the city. I had only really been to touristy places, but that's not Seoul. That's the Seoul that the government wants foreigners to see and experience. But I wanted to find the actual city, construct my own expectations of it.
I love how I've been living in Seoul for 3 months? Yeah, I believe 3 months, and there's still places that I've never visited. Neighborhoods that I've never been to, whole regions that I haven't gotten to. This is one of those adventures to also check out. Unibomber! Kyung-hee, Kyung-hee!
So I tied my shoelaces and I went exploring like a madman. I started hitting 14, 15 kilometers daily, determined to see as much as I can. Luckily for me, the city is walkable. Not that you can actually walk it from the beginning to the end, even I wasn't as crazy to attempt that, but Whatever neighborhood you arrive in, you can walk there with no problem. There are roads everywhere, even if it seems like there are none. Sometimes you just have to simply share the roads with the cars, so please constantly look behind. I walked without any intention in mind. I simply wanted to see different corners of the city. So if something looked interesting, I turned a corner, entered stores with bright banners, stopped at every mega coffee on the way. A lot of the times I ended up under bridges or tunnels during my outings, because of which I started joking to my friend that A, I will get kidnapped, or B, I will get to join the Ninja Turtles.
You can't see because it's very dark here, but I started joking to my friend a while ago that with the places I go to, that like I often end up underground tunnels and things like, oh wow, it's so pretty. Anyway, I end up in like underground tunnels or in like car passageways. Sometimes I just turn a corner that looks creepy, and I start telling my friend that like at this point I'm gonna end up finding Ninja Turtles somewhere around, and I'm gonna get claimed by them. Which is like, I don't remember the name of the rat and Ninja Turtles, but like yeah. So like right now I'm walking, God knows where I am, but I have a strong feeling I might just come upon Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael, and whatever the fourth turtle ninja's name is. But yeah, on the lookout, on the search for them, I guess. Ninja Turtles. I'm gonna get claimed by them one day. What is the name of that rat? On C or on K? I need to Google.
But that's how I knew that I was on the right track. Because actual real Seoul is not those glamorized skyscrapers, but it's the rows of the panel houses. It's the local markets with random shouting. It's the children running home from school with their giant backpacks and newly bought goods from convenience store. It's the stores filled to the brim with spare parts and books that are about to fall. I actually wonder about those stores a lot. The lights are on and there's a worker inside, so there must be people who keep the place in business, yet I struggle to figure out what it is that is being sold. My local friend told me that I will be disappointed with Seoul and to not have high expectations of it because it's nothing like you see online when you live here. That turned out not to be true. I wasn't disappointed. I actually preferred this Seoul. Oof, but before I dwell further into the existential crisis that hit me later on, I'd like to mention another very important event that occurred to me. Stray Kids concert. Stray Kids were my very first K-pop group, and in a way they domino affected me into living in Seoul. If going to Seoul was an event beyond my comprehension, seeing Stray Kids live was just something impossible. So standing outside the arena with a ticket with my name on it was surreal. Climbing the stairs up to the bleachers, seeing the group's name plastered everywhere. The screams, the music. To wrap up my K-pop talk, I also got the opportunity to go to AT's Hongjoong's exhibition, which I greatly enjoyed. There were some freebies giving out, which I found to be a case in many places in Seoul. Little postcards are giving a majority of places. A lot of cultural activities are also free or cost very little, places like museums and palaces, which I greatly appreciated as the capitalistic nature of Seoul already sucked most of my money out. My friends and I went to game cafes, shopped, visited the zoo, traveled to Incheon and won on this killer disco pong machine. It's very fun, highly recommend, but you will get bruised. And we also attempted to go to a baseball game.
Oh, wait. We're going to see baseball! 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 Woo!
It doesn't look like there is a baseball game going on. It looks dead quiet and literally dead. Did we come all this way to not see baseball? This is the ticket office somewhere here. There, yeah, this is the ticket office, and it's closed.
Yeah, it's very closed.
I don't think it's happening.
No.
It was yesterday.
But today's the 14th. We are going to Gangnam for dinner because there is no baseball.
She's migrating them.
Yeah, because she's gonna come with the stuff. And she'll probably put it on this side, so.
The last one. The last remaining garlic.
How
long does it take to come
back? 팁. Of what? Of you being a grandma? She is working them. What does this work? Your glutes?
We're in the slide.
After 3 months of living in Korea, I finally got the courage to start exploring places far off on my own. I went to Gapyeong, a city next to Naming Island, which I didn't actually visit because I was not going to pay 16,000 to see a piece of forest, so I explored the nearby city instead and got myself some fish bread. I also went to Suwon and walked around the fortress. Then I visited Ansan and got to go to the food market and got way too much bread, but hey, it was only 4,000. For me, smaller cities in Korea resemble those in Siberia. If it is not the main city, there's not much to do but just go about your routine stuff. The cities were primarily apartment buildings with some parks and occasional tourist attractions. There were also barely any people on the street since people were at school or work. It was just very ordinary. Perfect place to escape the buzz of Seoul.
Let's go.
It's hydrophobic! Why were you telling me to I forgot! Not a city, but my friends and I also visited a Hanok village in the north of Seoul, up on Bukhansan. It is bigger than the tourist attraction in the middle of the city, and for me, it was a lot more interesting and cozy. There are amazing cafes there, with the best shepherd's pie I have ever had. And there are also some very interesting and unique exhibitions. By the way, this is a note for my future self. When I'm old and rich, I want one of those moon jars in my house. Like, it is a need, it is a must, it should be on my coffee table, okay? Doing all of these activities is when the anxiety started settling in. It felt like I was trying to grasp and hold on to everything. I was so desperate for it not to end. I didn't realize just how quickly the time will fly by. I kept thinking that I missed it all. There's still so much that needs to be done and seen, but I also had essays to write and exams to study for. I was trying to get everything out of Seoul as I knew that there was a very little chance I will ever be back. And that sent me on a further spiral. How was I going to return back to my old life knowing that Seoul exists? That there is a city on the other side of the world that made me feel so self-fulfilled. A city in which I enjoyed just being and existing. You know, I felt it in the very first days, but only now did it settle in. I fell in love with Seoul.
How am I supposed to leave this place? How am I supposed to leave this place? Tell me. How am I supposed to find happiness? That's very sad, but what the girl, this is a city we're talking about. It's not like you're going through a divorce to a husband to whom you've been married 15 years and you have 3 children with who cheated on you with your coworker. It's not that serious. I'm not crying, by the way. I'm sick. That's why I'm doing the nose things. I'm not actually that insane, but I am very sentimental, and I am feeling a lot of things right now because I do really love it here, and it can never be mine. I'll survive. No choice. Do you hear the water? Oh my gosh, there are a bunch of cycles behind me. I don't even know what to say besides that I'm feeling and thinking too much, and I don't like feeling and thinking. I very much prefer to not think and not feel. It's also freezing cold though, so like I want to go inside, but I also don't.
Walking around, I couldn't fight the melancholy. I was going to miss this. I knew it was going to tear me apart and that everywhere I would go, I would look for it. Anything to remind me of the joy I felt, of the people I met, of the things I experienced. I so badly wanted it to be my life forever. It is one of those moments when your mind starts contradicting itself, because I'm so glad I got to experience it, yet I also wish I never had. I wish I didn't know about how beautiful this place is. And then the lasts and goodbyes started, and I thought, yeah, I'm about to go insane. I hate knowing in advance that things end. I'd just rather have them end abruptly and deal with the aftermath, because I'm sentimental and emotional and unstable. Whenever I know something is ending, I start clinging onto it and suffocate inside because I cannot imagine letting go. Before, I never understood people who wrote "I was here" on bridges or walls, but in those last days I wanted so desperately to write somewhere on a wall of Seoul that I was there, to leave something behind, to let the city know I lived there, I was a part of it. I had a favorite cafe and I memorized the order of metro stops and I know which shortcuts to take. I was here, it all did happen, it wasn't an illusion. I never understood time and how it changes speed, how sometimes it drags on forever and sometimes speeds past.
Sorry, I gotta be a little blogger. And I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run. I look so goofy. Oh my god. Ooh. Yeah. I'm Batman. I'm hiding underneath the mask. Pretty. Where are we going? Where do we go? Do we go left?
Girl, it's freaking South Korea. It is South Korea. When has anything ever made sense?
Before I could process, came the last week.
Do you see something in my eyes? You should be able to see the crisis. Today's a Monday, 18th of December. I leave Seoul in a week. I mean, at this point it's even less, because I'm leaving morning of the 25th. The fuck you looking at? I don't know if I told you guys, I bought a little toy. I bought a little plushie. It's gonna make me feel a bit better, probably, hopefully. Oh, I'm showing his ass. This is crazy to me. What do you mean I have to go? What do you mean I have to leave? How do I continue living? I mean, it's not that dramatic. I can just continue living, and I know that there's still a lot of things to look forward to. But it's just so many experiences, so many good things happened. It's hard to let go of that. I have an exam tomorrow. I should be studying, but I can't. I'm sad.
Had my last day in university, last time with my classmates, some of whom I will probably never see again. Had last trips to places I love, places I visited when I just came to Seoul and thought that I had forever ahead of me. Worst was the goodbye with my friends. Going to our routine dinner knowing that this is the last one. Tomorrow I won't receive a text. Dinner? Question mark. Tomorrow we won't fight over where to eat. Tomorrow we won't laugh as we make fools of ourselves when ordering. And then we sang karaoke. And all I could think about is how we will never be this young and having this fun again. I'm my own worst enemy. Apparently, I hate myself. After saying goodbye to friends, I had to say bye to Hoegi. You're probably thinking, okay girl, what the fuck is Hoegi? Why are you bringing this up now towards the end? You know, well, I also didn't know what Hoegi was in the very beginning. But It turned out that Hoegi is the nicest spot and the best neighborhood to live in Seoul. Especially as a student of a university which is in the area, you know, just an extra bonus. So what is Hoegi? Hoegi was my home for these 4 months. It's full of life, but not crazy overwhelming. It's far enough from the center to not have tourists, but not far enough that you live in the trenches. There are a lot of places to eat, and photo booths and entertainment like game cafes and karaokes. There are all the essential stores you will ever need, and if you walk a few minutes from the train station, you'll end up by a little river, because you already know that I'm apparently a water freak. There are little gardens and golf courses, running paths and dog parks. Hoegi is just a neighborhood. A regular, quiet neighborhood. And it was my neighborhood.
My humanities building. We stood in line here for the festival for like 4 hours, and then that's the main building. Hey, look at it. Wow, so pretty. If on my first day here I climb all the way up, I'm not doing that today. I'm not gonna climb that mountain to go to the Peace Hall. So I'm just gonna see it through the trees. Direction. Oh, I'm gonna have to walk this. Wow. I didn't expect it to be this actually large. This right here is where the festival took place. And then right there, wait, where's my finger? That building over there is where I had my morning classes every single day. Oh, it's also really cold. And my phone told me that there was no storage left on my phone, because apparently I had 43 gigabytes on CapCut. So I had to delete that. Yeah, but it's chilly and my phone's losing charge really fast. Oh, the sun. Oh. But yeah, I have to have one last walk around this place. Oh, that was very close to my face. I am very sorry. We're getting close to personal. I am oversharing in this video anyway, in trauma dumping.
I walked through my university one last time. Walked to the river one last time. Went to my convenience store one last time. Sang in karaoke one last time. Shopped at Olive Young one last time. Slept in my room one last time. And stood at the Hoegi station platform one last time. Luckily for me, the day that I left Hoegi was filled with events, so when I moved into my new place, I went to grab lunch.
I'm probably gonna mess up so badly. Oy.
And then I met my friend and we wandered around Myeongdong. And then I met my high school friends and we laughed and we drank and we had an amazing, perfect time. I wish that was my last day in Seoul because I was feeling so happy and content.
뭐야? 맛있게 드세요. 맛있게 드세요.
맛있게 드세요.
맛있게 드세요.
I had one more full day, which I was going to spend all on my own. And it was the 24th of December. Christmas. I was quite literally Kevin from Home Alone. I had never in my life spent Christmas without my family, even though we don't really celebrate it. I knew that if I was going to think about it too much, I'll get all sappy and emotional. Not surprising at this point, you all get it that I need a therapist. So I decided to do what I love most on my last day. I went to a barbecue place where you can eat alone, took one last photo booth picture, and then headed to the Han.
My all-time favorite activity in Seoul. Tunnels. Secret tunnel. Let's go, Ninja Turtles. Last day. This is your last day to claim me. Anyone? Michelangelo. Splinter. Where are you at? I ain't join you boys. Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael, and I always forget the fourth one. Michelangelo, Raphael, Leonardo. Who was? Let me Google. Donatello. I remember that it was something on D. Also, I'm not insane to drink ice in winter. I just forgot to change it to hot. So now we're drinking iced coffee, but this is my last mango coffee. If you're wondering where the sleeve is, yes, I did collect it.
I'm actually writing this as I sit on the bench here, watching the water. And you know, I'm not feeling too bad. I suddenly got this feeling that I will in fact be back. I'll make it back somehow. But right now, I think I'm ready to go home. So what did I discover about Seoul? First, it's intense. It's crazy and hectic and it keeps tripping you over, but you will fall in love with it. It's inevitable. Second, Gyeonggi-Jeonggang Metro Line is the creation of the devil, avoided at all costs, especially during rush hour. Third, if you want cheap coffee, go to student neighborhoods and look for places where a lot of people are studying. About Coffee, for example, charges just 1,900 for iced Americanos in the morning compared to a regular fee of 4,000 everywhere else. If you're going to a big event, show up a few hours early. And by a few hours, I mean show up well in advance. One thing people in Seoul had mastered is patience for standing in lines. They will get long. Popular neighborhoods are just that. Popular neighborhoods. Visiting them a couple times is enough. If you want a good, greasy, and cheap hot dog, you will not find it in the center. The best hot dog I've ever had was at Duncheondang Market. There's only one hot dog stall. You will not miss it. Overall, it's true that the best food you will ever find in Seoul is in those tiny random restaurants which have a toilet hidden in the garage and is run by 2 people. And lastly, Seoul leaves a mark. You will search for it everywhere. It feels like an actual, proper, real heartbreak. Star-crossed lovers, if you will. So visit on your own risk. Visit only if you know that you will be able to say goodbye.